Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and I own a veterinary technician relief business.
And I'm Michelle. I own a veterinary technician mobile house call business.
And you are
And you are
listening
listening
to
to
Endless
Endless
Journeys,
Journeys,
the Vet
the
Tech
Vet Tech
Odyssey
Odyssey
podcast.
podcast.
In this podcast, we will be discussing and meeting with credentialed technicians who have created their own path with business ownership within the veterinary space.
Our goal is to help inspire burnt out vet techs before they leave the industry altogether through our stories and the stories of other vet tech business owners. Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. Hello.
Think everybody's off driving to work right now. I feel like it.
Oh, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like one of those weird things where it's like you're trying to imagine like what your listeners are doing as they're listening to your podcast. And I guess most people probably listen while they're driving. I always start my day like making breakfast and I listen to podcasts. So like I'm always at home, I'm making my breakfast, I'm drinking my coffee. But yeah, I guess most people are probably like driving while they're listening to podcasts.
That's me. I drive when I listen to my podcast. As soon as I have 2 days a week where my first two podcasts that I love to listen to pop on. As soon as I get in my car, like I'm like right there. I'm like, ooh, and it's every Tuesday, the Bird Bath with Ryan, and then every Wednesday it's the Veterinary Viewfinder with Becky Mosser and Dr. Ernie Ward. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, as soon as I get in my car at like 9:30, they're right on, and I'm listening to them. And the rest of the week, I'm just like, who's got something available for me to listen to?
Yeah. I have so many podcasts that I listen to. I have so many that I cannot even keep up with all of them. I think in my library, I have at least 20 that I'm like trying to like go and get through. So yeah, I can't keep up with all of mine, but I love them all the same.
Okay, gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
What's your most guiltiest pleasure one or most oddball one? And I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Um, so Morbid is probably like my guilty pleasure, my absolute favorite. That probably, I don't know, maybe like people think is weird, but it's called Morbid and it's these two girls and they're awesome. They're so fun to listen to and they kind of mix their podcast up a little bit, which is kind of a little bit based off of some of the ideas that I've taken for our podcast so that it's just not the same thing every time. Then we try to add in new things and like special episodes like our Chill and Spill. So they will do like true crime shows, but then they also do like listener tales and where people like write in their spooky like ghost stories and they'll just talk about the most random things like they'll talk about ghost stories, they'll talk about true crime, and they are just so entertaining. And every story that they have, it's never boring and they just always have something interesting and spooky and scary to talk about. And I love my true crime. And I know like for women in general, we love our true crime.
Yeah.
So they're probably my most favorite guilty pleasure, but also weirdest podcast listen.
I can dig it. I mean, I feel like so many of us listen to true crime. That sounds like one I would listen to as long as I don't get too graphic. 'Cause I don't like violence. Violence is bad. So, but as long as I don't get too graphic, I'm cool. Um, Mine are. I bet you can guess one of them. I bet you can guess the Golden Girls Deep Dive
Oh my
podcast.
gosh, are you serious? I didn't even know. See, that's the great thing about podcasts though, right? Like there's literally a podcast out there for anything. If you
Everything.
love something, if you were like, man, I'd be really interested in learning more about that, look it up on your freaking podcast feed because you'll probably find it. That's awesome. I would not have even thought of that.
Yep, that's my one. It's the Golden Girls Deep Dive podcast, and they call us listeners their cheesecakers. We're the
Oh
cheesecake.
my gosh.
Yeah, they're like, "What's up, cheesecakers?" I'm like, "That's me. I'm a cheesecaker listening." I love that one though. Those two are so funny. Like you could tell they remind me of me and my friend Alan, who's my Golden Girls trivia partner. He is a veterinary assistant. We've been good friends, and the way those two like batter off with each other, it's like, oh my god, that's like me and Alan when we get together. I'm like, so yeah, I love that one. It's funny. I'll be walking down the road, walking Judy, and then like the neighbors are out, and I'm listening to like Golden Girls stuff, and I'm like, hi,
Oh
waving
my
with my Golden
gosh.
Girls podcast. Yeah, that's funny. And so, other than that, how's your week been going?
Really, really good this week. I worked just another 2 days, and yeah, I'm trying to think what I didn't. Wait, okay, because today's Thursday, right? Because we said
Oh
Happy Monday
yeah,
when we started, but it's actually Thursday.
Thursday.
No, that's okay. I'm like, wait, I'm confused. What day is it? What happened? So yeah, so I worked the past 2 days, and then Monday I had off, which was honestly really, really nice. Went to the gym, relaxed. I love to just like sit out it's really sunny and nice here, and we're very limited on the rest of our summer days here in North
Hmm.
Idaho. So I spent as much time as I could outside and just sitting outside, and I love to read. So reading my books, and then obviously like adult responsibilities, cleaning the house and all that jazz. So that's what I did. And yeah, nothing too crazy. What about you?
Hmm. You'd be proud of me. Guess what I did?
Did you go outside?
I went outside.
Yay!
I finally
You let the sun
stepped.
touch your skin?
I did, yes. I know. Even myself, I was like, ooh. I was like, I'm outside. And I told my friend about it too, because even she's like, I think she's one I mentioned a couple episodes ago, where it's like, yeah, she's up north tubing, but she doesn't invite me. But I don't think she invites me for the obvious reasons. She knows I hate the outdoors.
Hey, when you know, you know. I mean,
Right?
it still works. It still works.
Yeah. And we were outside for a whole 2 hours. Yep.
Wow.
2 hours. Yep. And I was constantly reapplying my sunblock like every 45 minutes. And she was like, no, she was like basking in it. And I'm like, I'm hot. We need to go under the shade or we need
Oh
to go
my gosh.
inside. Yeah. So we were on the beach for 2 hours. But then, oh my God, it was so funny. The Coast Guard or like the little beach patrol guys
Hmm.
um, came by and they're like, oh, ladies, the beach is closed due to high levels of E. coli. And I'm like,
What?
yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, my first and only time probably going out this year. And then he's like, oh, it's okay. You just have to exit the water. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what are the signs and symptoms of E. coli? And they're like, digestive issues. And I'm like,
Yeah, like vomiting basically is parvo. It's
yeah.
parvo for people.
I remember, and this is like, he was like a young, young little beach guard, maybe like 20. And I was like, I'm not afraid of E. coli. I was like, I'm a woman who's like middle aged and I'm on semi-glutide. Like nothing affects my gut at this point. I'm
Oh my
okay.
gosh. He was
And
like,
he's like,
okay, lady, I didn't need to know that. I'm just doing my job here, okay?
yeah. Yeah. And then he asked me to pour out my alcoholic beverage. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, in the sand? He was like,
Oh, see, that's why. Okay, here's a little tip and I learned this from my best friend. My best friend Brandy. Okay, shout out to Brandy. I'm not sure if she actually listens to the podcast, but I'm shouting out to Brandy. Nalgene's. You take your Nalgene, or hell, you even take like I guess most girls use Stanley's. I'm anti-Stanley for my own
okay.
personal reasons. But for like your Nalgene's or your Stanley's, just put your alcoholic beverage in those and no one will ever know. Like
As I have
when you
my
go to the
Chewy
beach.
Stanley.
Yes, see, there you go. Like you just, or your, like I said, or your little Nalgene's. Do you know what a Nalgene is?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I wish I had mine. I
I'm
have like
old.
stickers all over mine. But I have my little, here, I'm just going to go grab it. I'll be right back.
I'm very curious. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Nalgene.
Oh,
Yep. It's like cutesy little thing.
it
And like I
is.
said, I get my like little stickers all over it. My little travel stickers everywhere we travel. I buy a new sticker. But yeah, like they're really cool. And like I just take them to the beach and like you could put ice in it. You could put your alcohol in it and like no one will ever know.
Oh, cool. So I won't have Officer Beach over here saying, ma'am, I need you to pour out your alcoholic beverage. I'm like,
And
first you
I
kick me
like
out of the
them.
water, now you're making me pour out my drink. Come on, man.
I like these for the beaches specifically as opposed to like the Stanleys or something because they're not like big and bulky and they like you can just carry them around. You can throw them in the sand like and it's not a big deal. Or if you're like floating on the water or something, like again, it's not a big deal. It's not like super heavy. I
I
love
like
them.
it. I'm gonna have to get an algae. I'm gonna absolutely get myself an algae. Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
yes.
that's what you do when you go to the beach. Like,
Okay.
don't, because that's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna tell you to do. Like, dump it. It's like, okay, well, they'll never know if you put it in something else.
I'm gonna do
All right,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That was probably a bad influence out there. So sorry,
Yeah.
but
We don't endorse. We don't endorse public drinking.
I mean, as long as you're responsible, that's what I say.
I wasn't driving. Ashley was driving. So
Well,
I
and
was
I mean,
like,
like I said, like, just don't be a belligerent drunk. That's what I
yeah.
say. But
Right.
yep. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
All right. Okay. So how was your work week though? What did you anything up or down or anything crazy happen this work week with you in the world of relief?
I mean, not too crazy. I would say, as far as my highlight and low light, I'm not going to talk about necessarily work every single time for my highlights because I have so many other things going on in my life that are just so great compared to actual work. But I'm going to say it right now. Yesterday was the day that Taylor Swift announced her album. So that was my highlight of the week. Like that was my obsession. And unfortunately I had to work yesterday. And so when she dropped the podcast, because she just went on Travis's podcast, and the time that they dropped the podcast was exactly the time that I was supposed to be at work. So I was literally in my car and there was like a countdown going on, and I had the phone in my hand and I was like, okay, maybe I can see it in time. Maybe I can see it in time before I actually have to walk into work and be distracted, because I don't want to be distracted when I'm at work. So that was my highlight yesterday. Just, it's always fun just trying to figure out like what the strategies are and what the little Easter eggs that she's always doing. So that was really fun, and just like messaging my girlfriends and talking about that. So that was really fun. And then, gosh, as far as a low light, I saw a really horrible case yesterday. It was really, really bad. Honestly, it was so bad I don't even know if I should talk about it.
We don't have to then. I
It
know you
was
said you like
really
the Purge.
bad.
Do you want to purge? Because I know you said you like to purge.
I don't know. I just don't even know if I don't even know if it's an appropriate conversation to have. Like, we literally had.
Oh my God! Now I want to know. Like, what
Oh
happened?
my gosh, it was such a horrible case. We had a case that came in. It was an animal abuse case where they were thinking that the dog was sexually assaulted. So, yeah, it was really bad. And she was the sweetest little dog, and she, of course, was a little sketchy. And apparently that wasn't the only thing that had happened to her. There was talk about, like, the person, like, tying her to a vehicle and dragging her down the road. Yeah, which there weren't any signs of that happening. Like, she didn't have any injuries of that nature. But, yeah, we basically had to, like, the officer came in, we had to do swabs, and there's a whole investigation, and it was really sad. It was horrible. I like walked in and I was like trying to be in a really good mood, because I'm trying to be better about that, to be like more positive at work. And I like came in a really good mood, and then we started rounding, and then they tell me that, and I'm like, okay, so this is why it's so hard. This is why it's so hard sometimes to be like in a really good mood and to be positive and then you tell me about cases like this. So that was really hard. I think that's the first case that I've actually ever seen like that. So yeah, that was my low light.
So what you're saying is you have access to the medical records, which might have the owner's address, right?
He has been arrested. He is in jail. Oh, there is an open investigation. So it's Washington, and animal abuse is illegal, and they actually take action in the state. So not every state do they take action for cases like this, but Washington they do. So that person was arrested. There is an open investigation. They are in jail.
Good. Okay, because I was going to say, I could just take a road trip out to Washington. Like, I would come out and see you.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah,
like
that's.
I mean, and it's cases that where it's just there's some really fucked up stuff that I see sometimes in the city that I work in. Like, people are crazy. I mean, even one of the doctors at my clinic, I think on Tuesday. She was threatened and like literally in the middle of the treatment area, like they wanted to take their dog home. They were told that their dog was probably going to die if they took it home. They needed to sign an AMA, and they like got all up in my doctor's face and basically threatened to punch them, like, and it was
Bro.
like a whole thing. So I guess this week has been pretty eventful at work, but I mean, that's emergency. That's emergency that I normally see. And honestly, I think I made a comment too, because everyone was like so shocked about it. I'm like, honestly, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, because I've seen it happen all the time. So it was pretty eventful.
Yeah. That, if I haven't said it 100 times, I'll say it again. I give you so much damn credit for doing the job you do. I freaking live in happy land, and you're over here seeing stuff that I could only imagine in my nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
purge it away this weekend. Go out in the mountains and
Yeah, we're actually going
vacation.
camping this weekend. So we're going camping by the river, and it's going to be a good time. Because you know me, I'm outdoors. I'm the outdoors
outdoors,
person.
eh?
I'm the crazy outdoor person. So
And then you got the house hermit basement, or you got the hermit basement like myself over here, where I'm just
yeah.
like, I'll crawl out of my den once in a while, and I'm like, ooh, sunlight. Yeah. And so I will say this, you know what? I actually, for my week last week, I actually made a TikTok out of it. And for some reason, people were really interested in it when I put like just how many hours I worked,
Yeah.
how many appointments I seen, and how many pets I seen. And I work a lot less than I thought I did. Like,
Really?
yeah, when I actually really started like buckling down and being like, let's get how many hours I truly work. Because I always had like an average in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I work like 20 hours a week. Like, I like I didn't
Oh
think
my
I
gosh,
worked that
that's
little.
amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's essentially what I do though too. I mean, lately I've only been doing 2 days a week. I do 2 10-hour shifts. So that's 20 hours a week. But I'm making enough money in those 2 days that it's essentially the same amount that I was working when I worked full 40 hours before.
same. Same.
Yep.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm actually just with my measly like 20 to some. There's some weeks where I work like 30. I'm still making like 3 times the amount I did than
Yep.
when I was full time in a vet clinic, which is mind boggling to think. And
Yep.
when I made that TikTok, there were so many technicians who were like, well, how do you do it? You can't work without a doctor. You can't work without a DVM. Or I like this one. One girl was like, are you like happy not working at the top of your license? I'm like, with all my money, yes, I am very happy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and and with how little that you have to work and all of your free time that you have. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm home by 4:30. I don't mind not working at the top of my license. I'm home by 4:30 every day, weekends,
Yep.
holiday. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and now I'm
And
actually,
you're still using your knowledge. It's just
yeah,
in a
different way.
different way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, I'm home early. I love it. So yeah, I'm actually really now like changing how I pay attention because I do have an accountant and he handles most of everything and I just go like work and I check in with him whenever it's needed. But I'm like, yeah, let's start recording how many hours I work. And that's so I'm like, oh dang, like, yeah. So last week I think it was like 20 hours, 36 appointments and 57 pets served.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
insane. Yeah. Yesterday is my biggest route of the month. I think I've told you about my largest route of the month. I
Yeah.
think it was in that route alone, grand total. This is insane. I did not think it was like that big, but I'm like, I have to talk about that because and this is how my week's going. Like it's pretty uneventful, but I worked yesterday. Okay, so I worked a full day. Like I actually worked 8 hours. I worked from 9:30 to 5:30. I saw 26 pets and had 17 appointments in one day.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And I only put like not even 100 miles on my car that day because all my houses are so close together. They're like 5 minutes apart from each other. So I don't even have time to listen to podcasts in between. Maybe a
Oh
song if
wow.
I'm lucky because I'm like, oh, right to the next, right to the next. So yeah, that's how my week is going. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's my favorite. Yeah, that's my day of the week that I don't care if I lose a leg, I'm still gonna hobble out there. That is my largest route of the month.
Right.
I don't miss it worth anything. I will plan vacations around that month. I do not miss that route.
Yeah.
And I did something kind of cool that I thought was like a highlight, and it was kind of personal, but it was still like work related. So Kiki, my beloved crusty old dog, Kiki, had to go to an internist. And by my house, we are very lucky. We actually have a privately owned like specialty emergency center. They have a lot of referral doctors there, plus they have emergency. So
Mhm.
I like them because I'm not supporting big chocolate. If I can avoid it, I'm going to
Yeah.
avoid it. And I was talking to my dog's internist, and she was like, "Oh, and they're very nice. They actually give me a courtesy, a professional discount, even though I'm not directly in a clinic. They still give me a discount." But she asked me, "Oh, what clinic do you work in?" I told her, "Well, I own my own business." And she was like, "Do you do pet sitting?" And she's like, "We really need to find pet sitters for our med pets. Our clients are always asking us, but we don't know anybody." So because I have the unattached vet tech group, I was like, "I can find you some, doc." And I went into my list of everybody who I know in the area who's a licensed technician, and I know their business is legit. I contacted them, said, "Hey, can I put you on a list as a contact for this big facility?" And they're like, "Yes, absolutely." And then I listed my pet sitter here in the area. They're not a licensed tech, but they're solid pet sitters. I listed them as well. And so I got this big clinic. I was able to help them out by getting them a list of local LVTs that I know in my state to help with their pets that need fluids, medication. God knows, I mean, if they're going to that center, they're obviously needing help of some sort.
Right.
And the doctor had told me that she's had people cancel their vacations because of their pets because they couldn't find a sitter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they couldn't find, I'm sorry, a qualified sitter.
Right.
Yeah, and I emailed her the list, and she's like, "Oh my god, that's so helpful. Thank you so much. I didn't know we had these LVTs in the area." And I'm like, "Yep, we have a lot of these LVTs." And so, yeah, I was able to help connect, them with medical pet sitting and help the facility at the same time. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
networking gets you so far.
Yeah. It
It is
does. It
such an
does.
important part of owning your own business is that networking and creating relationships like that, and um that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
so
I felt
cool.
really happy. Yeah, and the doctor, like, when I told her I had a list, and I was like, "I can get you a couple. I know there's at least 3 in the area," and I gave her a list of, like, 6. The way her face lit up, I was like, "I
Mhm.
haven't made a doctor that happy since 2019." Like, I was like, "I haven't made a doctor smile in years. Thank you, doc."
Well, I mean, and we always talk about like how most people, I mean, it's so hard to trust people to watch your pets. So to be able to have that list of professionals, like veterinary professionals, to be able to know that you can trust them with your pet when you're gone is everything. That
Yeah.
means so much to so many people.
Yes, it does, and to hear that owners were canceling their vacations, like, I'm like, "Oh, like, that's hard."
It
Like,
is. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
so
big deal.
yeah, and I will say we are very lucky in my area. We have a pet sitter. She's not a vet tech, but she's a smart business savvy lady. And she has like 9 employees, and they're solid. Like they can do injections. They're all part of the Pet Sitters Association. They're licensed and insured, CPI certified. I'm actually considering bringing them on as dog walkers for a couple days a month for Kiki and Bronson. Um,
Nice.
and, they're not licensed techs, but I like them, so I put them on the list too. I'm like, "Hey, this is in our immediate area." So yeah, it's nice to have all those connections and be like,
Yeah.
"Here, I got you some, doc." Like, yeah, it's the first time I did a task for a doctor in quite some time. I was happy.
Oh, that's so cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And then I mentioned earlier, like I live in a happy land. Like my job is very happy.
Mhm.
But I know when we talked about burnout in our last episode, I talked about like pets getting sick.
Mhm.
And bro, oh my God, one of my favorites, OG, long-term clients. Her dog's not doing so well. And she is one of my favorite humans as well.
Mhm.
And I was over at her house for a routine nail trimming appointment. And there was a hard lump on her chest. You could tell it was like in the sub-Q layer somewhere,
Yeah.
but I didn't like it, just felt hard. I didn't like it. And I was like, I think you should, she's like already on it. Like I didn't even have to say it. And she was like already doing it. Right. And she got back with me, and the dog has a mast cell tumor.
Oh.
So yeah. And here's the
I think
thing.
I
We
remember
caught it
you
early.
telling us about that a couple episodes ago. Or is this another one of your patients?
This is another one. This
Oh my
is, yeah, because I
gosh.
just found out about it. It could have been the last episode. Her name is Lexi. Because I
Okay.
usually will mention the pets' names, but not I try not to mention my owner's names,
Right.
but it's the pet's name, Lexi, and I mean, I just saw her like 2 weeks ago, so I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it happens a lot to the point where I kind of like sometimes I'll put pets on my peripheral, and then
Mhm.
sometimes I'll circle back in my head, or I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like literally, and I'm like, how's that dog doing?
Yeah.
I can't help but to do it. And she took the dog in, and they also did an ultrasound, x-rays, and the dog has some suspicious looking nodules on the spleen.
Mm,
Yeah, but the DVM said, hey, if these are suspicious, we caught it very, very early. And so they gave her a few options. They were going to put the dog under anesthesia, remove the mast cell tumor, and I think biopsy the
yeah.
spleen. And then they also gave her
Maybe
the
do some
option.
aspirates.
Yes, yes. We're currently waiting results. And they also gave her the option to remove the spleen altogether.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's, oh, it just breaks my heart because I'm like, I didn't realize like 4 years had passed by. And this is 4 years of me seeing this owner once a month, seeing this dog once a month. And they mean the world to me. And I know like we caught everything early and the owner's going to be wonderful and do everything that the DVM say. Like she is that A+ human and A+ owner. But I'm like realizing like some of these pets that I've fallen in love with are aging bad. Not like
No.
bad, but like they're aging fast. I'm like, wait a minute, you're still young. And I have to think, no, I've been seeing you for 4 years now. You were 5 when I started seeing you. Now you're 9. In my head, they're always going to be that young pup. So I'm
Right.
yeah, I'm on the phone with her, whenever she gives me updates. I'm following through. I want to stay up to date on it. And I told her yesterday, I was chatting with her. I was like, I'm gonna talk about you on the show tomorrow. She's like, oh my God, all good. I hope. I'm like, obviously, I'm like, I'm over here crying over your dog because if something happens to her and I don't see
Right.
you. And so that's kind of like my low part of the week, but also as a highlight because she's taking every appropriate action you can take, and she's doing everything for this dog. And so yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I'll keep
But I
everybody
think it's
updated.
also really nice for her because a lot of times these people go in and they talk to their veterinarians and they talk to them about all these things. And, a lot of it is just going right over their head because they're so overwhelmed and they're so upset and they're stuck in that emotion, which there's nothing wrong with that. And in the veterinary field, there's a lot of things that make sense to us that do not make sense to regular clientele, which it again, that's okay. They didn't go to school for all those things. But for her to be able to relay that information to you, and then for you to be able to confirm that that information is correct and that they're doing all the right things, I bet also gives her that sense of peace just to know, like, okay, they're doing everything right. This is, everything is gonna, you know, they're doing everything that they can instead of there being that question of like, am I doing everything I possibly can? Is there something I could be doing differently? She's just getting that confirmation from you. And I think that that makes a really big difference for your clients as well because they trust you and they trust your judgment, and it just gives them a sense of peace because I know that it would for me.
Yeah, yeah. And I always have, I think that's like one of the most beautifully organic parts about being a mobile vet tech and not being
Hmm.
employed by any doctor is my clients know that I'm not going to financially benefit. Like there's always that stigma on top of the DVM's head. Oh, what if they just want this for money? Like
Right.
that's always there. And they know with me that I'm not employed by their doctor. Half the time I don't even know who the hell their doctor is.
Right.
And I don't care if they spend $1 million on their pet. I'm not going to see anything from it. So
Right.
I have no interest in it. So I'm going to tell them what I'm going to do for my own dog based on my experiences. And I can validate why your DV wants to do this, why your DV wants to do that. And again, I think like that really does help the veterinary industry
Right.
because I'm very neutral. I have no financial interest. So yeah, and I do love helping my clients. And even if it's, I told her, I'm like, girl, you can call me at 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to answer. And she's like, well, I don't want to pester you. I'm like, you can pester me anytime. You're one of my favorite clients and favorite humans. Do
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah. So it's just sad because I adore the dog. So
Right.
yeah. So we'll keep an
Oh.
eye out. But I think again we caught it early, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that the owner is very vigilant. We caught it early. She wasted no time, and she's getting it taken care of. So one of the fun things that happened this week is we love interacting with people who listen to us. And we were actually tagged in a post by Brandy. And I sent it to Jen, and we both had that little, like, was it teary eyed emoji when we saw
Yeah.
this? So thank you, Brandy. But she said, catching up on this amazing podcast. If you're a vet tech, you should listen. Even if you never leave working in a clinic, it's a great resource for helping with burnout and other options you can do with your license. She was listening to the Jesse Hurd episode. So thank you, Jesse, also for giving us information. And Brandy, like that made our day. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was sitting on my computer on the couch on Facebook, and I saw that post, and I immediately just like got a little
Yeah.
teary-eyed, and then my husband was sitting next to me, and I was like, "Look, read this." And he read it, and he's like, "Oh, that's so good." And it's just that circle back moment of I remember when I think this happens in a lot of people's lives when you want to make a difference and you want to help people, but you just don't know how to do that. And I know that there's a couple people who are listening to this podcast that are my best friends, and they are uh, loyal listeners, and they could probably tell you, like a year ago, I was talking about how much I wanted to do something like this and how I wanted to help other technicians and I wanted to help bring them confidence and I wanted to help them know their worth and I wanted them to be happy in this field and to stay in this field and to and empower themselves, but I just didn't know how to do it. And also talking about I want to do a podcast one day. I want to do all these things. And so to be able to circle back and say that I am doing those things now and then to see people saying those things about what we're doing, it's such a like I said, it's such a circle back moment for me where I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this and I can't believe that it is making a difference." And it's an awesome feeling.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you like that one day where me and you chatted. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that I met you and that you're like, yes, I want to do a podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I want to work with her. So yes, Jen, you are amazing and I know you're helping out a lot of techs. So
Well,
yes.
you are too. So
Yeah. Trying, trying. So that's what we're here for, everybody.
All right. So, our next segment that we're going to do is our question of the week. And our question of the week was pulled from the Unattached Vet Tech group again. The question is I have a client that has never paid me the correct amount. I feel bullied, but also lenient because it's a friend. How can I get them back on track and paying the correct amount?
It's
uh,
tricky.
yeah. So Michelle sent me this question while I was at the gym. And she sent me like a couple of questions and I was like, okay, so there's another question, but this question. I'm
Yeah.
all about this question. Do you want to go first, Michelle, or do you want me to go first?
I have big feelings. I should get these big feelings out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, as a small business owner who does this, your friends and family should be the first people to support you. And if they're going to be supporting you, they're going to be paying what you ask, if not more, because they support you and they support your business. Just because you have a business does not mean that you get everything for free from that individual who's put in time, resources, education. That does not entitle you to all that for free because you share DNA or because you share a bond. I hope that sinks in. On that note, I have friends that I do services on their pets, but also they do services for me as well. So it's a give and take. One of my good friends, she is a photographer. I've done her pets several times and she's done photos for me. So you can also barter. If this individual has a small business, you can barter. I barter with several people to where there's a lot of stuff I don't buy anymore. Or if I have oh God, like an appliance friend, I've bartered my services. So you could also maybe try to barter with this individual if they own a small business or if they're crafty or something like that, whatever their craft is, come back and say, well, I notice you haven't paid me the full amount. Normally I charge clients this, but I know you're my friend or you're my family. But also you own this small business. Would you mind, maybe we could just talk about bartering a bit in the future. That might be a conversation starter, or you can default back to the I got bills to pay, and I kind of need my money to pay my business to keep it afloat.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Yep.
Mhm.
Yes. Jen, I see your face. You're waiting on it too. Oh, this one's
I
hot.
mean, you definitely took the words right out of my mouth in with your first statement. The same thing. If they're your friends or your family, they're going to support you 100%. And they are not going to try to I mean, they might try to ask for a discount, but eh, for me personally, if people are going to be trying to get a discount from you, then I don't really think that they're your true friend. And I mean, and I can back that up a little bit too and say, I think people sometimes will think that that's a perk, right? But again, if they're your family or your friends, they're going to 100% support you. And so they should be paying you 100% and they should be happy to do it because they're
Yeah.
supporting you by that. I know that there's some wishy-washiness out there between family and friends when it comes to owning your own business and giving out discounts. And at the same time, that's their personal business. If you want to give out discounts to your family and friends, then do it. If that's what makes you happy, then do it. But with this specific question, she said that she's not getting paid the correct amount. She does feel bullied. So, and I feel like the word in that, right? She's feeling bullied. But then in that same sentence, she says that it's a friend. Your
Hmm.
friends don't bully you,
Bully
girl.
you.
Their friends don't bully you. So if you're feeling bullied, to me, that's automatically like, okay, that's not a friend. Or if you're, or if you're feeling, if this person is a little bit pushy about it, again, it doesn't really sound like a friend to me. A friend should also be somebody that you can be 100% honest with, right? A true friend
Yep.
should be somebody that you can be 100% honest with, and you shouldn't be afraid of what their answer is. And if their answer is they get mad at you, if their answer is they don't want to pay the full amount. If any of the answers are negative, or even if there's a threat that they're not going to be your friend anymore, then get rid of them. They're
Yeah.
not your friend.
No.
They are not your friend. Your friends, your true friends, are always going to be 100% supportive of you. And I mean, I've watched enough videos to know you find out who's in your corner when you start owning your own business, when you start being really successful. You will figure out who is in your corner. And you're going to lose people that you thought were in your corner. And it's going to hurt and it's going to be sad, but it's going to be for your benefit when they're not in your corner anymore, because those people are just bringing you down. So, to say, how can I get them back on track and paying the correct amount? Be upfront and honest with them. Just be in that communication and say, hey, look, this is the amount that I normally charge. This is the amount that you're giving me. I'm sorry. Has there been a miscommunication? Maybe you just didn't think. And, maybe you can try to get them to pay you up. But it sounds like there's been enough time where we're probably too late on that. So then you can just say, hey, from now on, this is the price that I'm going to be expecting. And if they say, well, I can't afford that, then, in the nicest way possible, you say, well, look, this is my business, like Michelle said, that I'm trying to run, and I can't survive on this expense. And me doing this for you is taking up time for people who are paying me the full amount. So I hope that you can understand that I unfortunately may not be able to make the time for you. And if I do have a time set up where I can make that extra time for you, maybe. At the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you. And me personally, I remember when I got my hair done for my wedding, it was my husband's sister-in-law's sister that was going to do my hair. And I remember that when we were talking about it, she was starting to talk about price, and I cut her off, and I was like, look, I'm not expecting a discount, a family
Good for
discount,
you.
none of those things. Because I mean, talking about price is always hard, whether it's family, friends, or your client anyway, right? So I really wanted to get that all and say, look, the reason I'm choosing you is not because I'm expecting a discount. I'm choosing you because I've been told that you're really good at what you do, and I want you. So don't give me a discount. I said, I said, don't even offer it to me. I'm paying you the full amount. I don't care what it is. Just tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. So, and she even said that she really appreciated that, and that she's like, oh man, that's so awesome, because even from my own family, they expect discounts. And for me, I'm kind of just like, no, if they really support you, they're going to pay 100% and they're going to be happy to do it. And if they give you attitude, it is up to you at the end of the day how important that relationship is to you. But at the same time, a family is a little bit different, and my relationship with my family already is a little bit iffy and wishy-washy, so
Same.
I'm fast to cut people off.
Me too.
I'm quick to do it. I'm quick.
Me too.
So I'm not going to say that about your family, but I'm sorry. But as your friends, you should be quick to cut people off if they are not fully supportive of you, because at the end of the day, with you owning your own business, that's only going to hold you back.
That's true. And you got to wonder, like Jen said, how shaky the friendship is. If you're feeling bullied, let's just take the business out of the equation. If you are feeling bullied by a quote unquote friend, that's something you want to reevaluate. And absolutely, when you start your own business, you're going to find out who truly supports you and who does not. I think I mentioned in a previous podcast, I had a friend who was a licensed vet tech. She has her VTS, and she did not support my business. And I found that out real fast when she was like, I just don't think you're going to be successful. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, you find out real fast, real fast. And my friends support me. Even when I make piss poor decisions, they support me. And that should be for almost any friendship, but you just shouldn't feel bullied. And you're, at the end of the day, like, who's buttering your biscuits, your best friend or your business? For
Right.
me, it's my business. They butter my biscuits. They pay my rent. That is going to trump my friendships, unless it's
Right.
Ada.
Yeah, and you might have that friend where, where they will try to pay you, and you can be like, no, you're not paying. You're my best
Yeah.
friend. Um, things of that nature. But that's not the basis of this question,
No.
right? Like, she's wanting to get full payment from this
Yeah.
person, and this person isn't giving her full payment. So at the end of the day, we're not discouraging people from doing discounts to your family and friends. We're not saying that you shouldn't do that. I mean, you do you, boo. I mean, if you want to do that, then that's great. But we're definitely just talking about this specific question. If you don't want to do that, then don't do it. And
Yeah.
if your family and your friends are bullying you into discounts, or they're giving you crap for not giving them discounts, then, like, screw them.
Yeah.
Screw
Go.
them. And
Do it.
sometimes people might think I'm a little cold in that, but you have to protect yourself. And yes, family and friends are really important, and family and friends are there to lift you up, but they should never discourage you from doing, because then that's conditional, right?
Yeah.
When you're supposed to have family and you're supposed to have friends, they're supposed to love you unconditionally. They're supposed to support you unconditionally. And sometimes for me, because I've had so much conditional love in my life, I'm very quick to be like, oh, that sounds conditional. It sounds like, oh, well, I'm your friend. You should do something for me. No, we're friends because we love each other and unconditionally, and we'll do anything for each other. And same thing with family, right? So, and that shouldn't be enough to break up your relationship. And if it is, then it wasn't a stable relationship to begin with.
Yeah. And on a business owning professional standpoint, I will say this. It's usually up to the business owner to decide whether
Yeah.
they're going to give a discount or not. It should never be implied. It should be, hey, you're my friend. Normally I charge 35, but I'll just do you for like 15, just enough to cover my bare expenses. It should be you approaching them, not them approaching you. I would never, ever ask any of my friends who own their own business. I got a couple friends that own their own businesses. I got a friend who just started raising chickens. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And I was like, I'll buy eggs off you." And most certainly, because I saw that she paid for these baby chickens. She paid for the coop. She's paying to feed them. I'm not expecting free eggs. I'll pay her full price for her eggs. Like, whatever she charges everybody else, I'm going to pay the same thing. And I don't want a friends or family discount because she's pouring money into it. So yeah, that's what's called business etiquette.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, I've worked in the vet field long enough. It drives me crazy when I would have people that walk in and they'd be like, they would name drop. Oh, I know so and so.
Oh,
I know the owner, or they would
oh,
say the owner's name and they'd mispronounce their last name. And I'm like, okay,
oh,
yeah, you know them so well that you can't even pronounce their last name right. And then at the end of it all, they're like, oh, well, I know so and so, so don't I get some sort of discount? And it's like, no, that's not how this works. Like, that's
yeah,
not, to me, it just, oh, it grinds my gears so
it
much when
is.
people do that and they just
It's
expect it.
tacky.
It
Yes,
is.
it's tacky.
And
My
those are the people where I'm
husband's,
like,
yeah,
definitely not. You
no,
definitely are not getting a discount because you asked for one.
yeah. And I this just came to my head. My husband's best friend is a airplane pilot. I wouldn't dare purchase my ticket online and be like, so my
Oh, yeah.
husband's best friend's a pilot. What's my discount? No, they would
No.
laugh at me. So why would you think anything different from a small business when you
Yeah.
think about it? I'm
Yeah.
not going to go to Delta and ask for a damn discount. So why are you going to come to me and ask for a discount?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and
I'll
I'm
get off
not
my
saying I'm not
soapbox.
a giving person either, because I sure as hell am a giving person. I mean, there's so many times where, I mean, I'm with all of my friends. It's one of those things where it's not like we don't tally up how much we owe each other. It's more of like, hey, I got this. You can just get me next time. Do I know
Yeah,
what next time is going to be? No, but I don't care because I know you got
yeah,
me next time.
yeah.
Like,
That's what friendships are about.
so it,
Yeah.
yes, so that's how I feel about it, and it sounds like Michelle's on the same page, especially a friend. Honesty in a friendship is what is going to make one of the best friendships that you'll ever have. And and I also want to go back to, I mean, I also believe in honesty in friendships as far as like if you're worried about somebody and you think they're going down the wrong road, like you should definitely tell them, and out of cautiousness too, but still be supportive at the same time. Be
Yes.
like, like if somebody's going down the wrong road, be like, hey, dude, I feel like you're going down the wrong road. I still think that, I'm really supportive of you and I'm going to be there for you no matter what, but you need to do something differently. I mean, and
Yeah.
I also believe in that too. So that's a true friendship. And so if this is a friend, then you shouldn't be feeling bullied and you should be able to honestly tell them and not be afraid of what their answer is.
Agreed. Yeah. And to that person, if you have any additional questions about it, email us. We'll
Yeah.
help you out. We'll help you get through that situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that was a pretty lengthy answer. I hope that our listeners got a lot from that. And again, if you guys have any input on that question too, like hit us up. Let us know what your thoughts are about it as well, whether you agree with us or you don't. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So our special guest today, her name is Kim Gardner. She is an LVT and a CVT. She has been in vet med for 26 years, and she's the owner of the Locum LVT PLLC, located in Utah, which has been in operation for 6 months. Kim is pioneering the landscape in Utah as she is the first ever CVT to own a PLLC.
Woo!
Kim, right? That's awesome. Kim is fear-free certified, pet first aid and CPR certified, and proline gas sterilizer certified. So she is going to be our guest today, and we're going to get her on right now. All right. Hi, Kim. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are
Good,
you
good.
guys?
We're good. We're good. We just got finished recording our intro for this episode. So now we're really excited to move on to our next segment and start asking some questions. We
Sweet.
already introduced you onto the episode, so everyone knows a little bit about you already and what you've done, and that you own your own business and your own relief business in Utah, which is awesome. I freaking love Utah. I've been there a couple times myself and visited. It's beautiful there. So we just kind of want to, we always like that icebreaker question just to see if we can get to know you personally just a little bit more, because I feel like the breed of dog that you own, or even if you don't own dogs and you just own cats, tells us a little bit more about who you are as a person, because we're all a little bit like our favorite breed of dog, I personally feel like. So what breed of dogs do you own? Tell us a little bit about the pets that you have.
Okay. Currently I have one dog, and which is odd for me because usually we're dog heavy and cat light in our family, and it's opposite right now. We're very cat heavy and dog light, which is very weird. We're not used to being the crazy cat family, but there's nothing wrong with that. So we currently have a mutant corgi. He is 9 years old, and I call him a mutant corgi because he looked like a corgi puppy when we got him from the shelter. We adopted him from Best Friends Animal Society, the adoption center in Sugar House. And I actually adopted him while I was supposed to be at work. I called my lead tech as she was off that day. And I said, "Hey, Jen, I need you to come in and cover me because I saw this super cute puppy on Instagram and I need him." And she's like, "I will be there in a heartbeat. I will cover you. Just give me 5 minutes." So she came down to the clinic. I used my quarterly bonus to adopt him.
Oh my gosh.
And my husband, he was working and he was very busy. And I said, "So I have a surprise." And he goes, "Please tell me it's not that puppy." And I was like, "What puppy?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me right now?" So that was 9 years ago. And he has been honestly the best puppy ever. And he is my wonderful puppy doggo. He goes everywhere with us. He goes camping. He goes to the coast. He goes kayaking with me. He has been the best guy. Before we had kids, I put all the training into all the dogs that we've had, and they have been project dogs like none other. This guy has always played second fiddle to the kids, but he has just been like so good with everything and everyone. Best in the car, best to kennel train, best with all the pets. I mean, he's just been a good wingman for all of our foster pets that have come in, and he's just been the perfect guy. So that's our doggo. We did one of the DNA tests, and it came back that he was a border collie, Australian Shepherd, English Springer Spaniel, and 1% Chihuahua.
Oh my gosh.
That 1% Chihuahua.
It's Utah, so why not? So cool.
Yes. Yes.
And then we have 4 cats.
Yeah. Yeah, we love it. I love cats. Those are actually, I'm more of a cat person, dog person. I wish I had cats, so I will live my life vicariously through you.
Oh, nice. I don't know.
So,
Once you meet
um,
these crazy beasts, I don't know.
yeah, I get that. Some cats are crazy. So one of the things I know I talked to Jen about, and I think I talked to you about, I was really excited to have you come on the show in particular because I feel a lot of techs are going to relate to you a lot because your business is newer. And, you look at people who, like myself, I've been doing it for 4 years, Jen's at a year. I know a lot of other techs are like 2 to 6 years into their business. So I feel like when other technicians see that, it's almost like it's out of their reach because they're so far down the road that
Mhm.
it's like almost the impossible. But with you
Yeah.
here being still new and still learning and still progressing, I think you're going to give a very unique point of view to the techs of like, okay, I'm still new. Here's what I'm
Mhm.
learning. And, I think your viewpoint is just going to be really tremendous. So that's why
Oh,
I'm
thank
I'm
you.
super excited to have you on. Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope I can really help some people who, have been really just kind of waiting to take that next step. So,
Right.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes we just need to kind of, just take that first step, a little dip the toes in the lake a little bit, find out, and then, we'll see. So
mhm.
yeah. So with all that being said, can you share your journey from working in a clinic to starting your own relief business?
Oh, yes. So my journey began 26 years ago. I was a young thing. I answered the call to a newspaper ad back when newspaper was a thing.
I remember those. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
remember newsprint? That's great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm that age too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so my very first day was Cinco de Mayo, 1995. Or sorry, 1999. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. 1999, and I started as a vet assistant. My plan was always to go to vet school, and there was never a question. I always wanted to be a vet, and my whole life, and I just thought everyone knew what they wanted to be when they grew up. So I knew I wanted hands-on experience when I entered the field because I didn't want to get so far down the road and be like, ooh, maybe this isn't for me, or, like I'm not 100%, and then spend all this time and money and effort into vet school, or not be able to get into vet school because I don't have the experience. I wasn't really sure what it took. So my first job was very life-changing. I very early on started just learning from everyone around me. We didn't have any tech schools here in Utah. The only school was at BYU, and it had closed probably about within 6 months of me starting in the field, and it was a veterinary technologist program. So for those of you who don't know, veterinary technologist is a 4-year bachelor's degree program, and it just wasn't terribly popular, and for good reason here in Utah. It wasn't until recently that Utah recognized credentialed veterinary technicians, or allowed credentialing for veterinary technicians. And I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But so I learned all from on the job, continuing education, but I almost walked away, to be honest. My first anesthetic monitoring experience was for a spay, and it was just a comedy of errors. And that's a dark way to put it, but there were a lot of things that were wrong with that situation that I had no idea. And knowing what I know now, I would have never let that happen, nor would anyone that I know of now would have let that happen to me. But things went horribly wrong very, very quickly. Luckily, the dog survived. The senior team jumped right in and very calmly, and she's one of my best friends to this day, were able to come in and take care of this patient, re-intubate this dog upside down. It was an English bulldog with her abdomen open and completely awake without a patent IV catheter. We were using propofol, which was brand new at the time. And yeah, it was a white hot nightmare. So once the dog was cared for and stable, I took off for the bathroom. I started sobbing, and I hear this boom, boom, boom on the door. And the vet is like, "Are you in there?" And I was like, "Go away, I quit." And he was like, "I'm coming in." And I was like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Absolutely, I am." So he unlocks the door with a butter knife, and he comes in, and he's like, he's like, "You're not quitting." And he goes, "As a matter of fact, we let you down today." And he said, "I am going to be here. I'm going to mentor you." And he's like, "We will make sure that you have the tools that you need to succeed." And from that day forward, I made sure that I never put myself in that situation, but I knew enough to know that I didn't know anything at that point. And so that kind of propelled my journey into becoming a credentialed technician. Education was incredibly important to me. And I grandfathered in. So because Utah did not have a program, we had a program for a very short amount of time through Salt Lake Community College. That did not last very long. It only lasted about a year. And then it dissolved because at the time they did not believe that, they being the veterinarians who were on the board of that particular education department, did not believe that veterinary technicians should be teaching other veterinary technicians. It was a long time ago, guys. It was a long time ago.
Okay, so
I feel
you're
like
seeing
me
our
and Michelle
faces,
made
yeah.
the exact same thing.
Well,
Face, yeah.
I know.
I'm like,
That's just like saying other things.
Like the eye twitch, like,
yeah,
I know. I'm
What?
twitching internally. Yeah.
we all are.
So it did disband, shockingly. And so I found a way to become a credentialed technician, and that was through the state of Washington's licensure program. I studied my buns off. I took all the VTNE prep courses, and I took the Washington State test, which was open book, open notes. And then I went up to Olympia in 2008 and sat for the VTNE and passed. And that was a huge step for me. And then finally, Utah established certification in 2020. And so now I also hold my CVT here in the state of Utah, but I will never let my LVT go in the state of Washington.
Mhm.
Even though I don't live there, I I just won't let it go. I will
No.
continue to pay the fees and keep my credentials because I worked really hard for it, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm
Yeah.
proud of all the work that I did that went into it, because education is important, and it's not just the letters that go behind it, it's the education, which was a really long way to say that was my journey into the field. I mean, I've worked in everything from general practice, emergency and critical care, oncology, worked with back before it was called Relief, I covered shifts for a mobile orthopedic surgeon. I've worked at a doggy daycare. I was an adjunct professor. That sounded really amazing. I was an adjunct instructor for the Utah Career College for their veterinary technology program, and I worked at doggy daycare. So I've done, and pet sat, done the things, and worked shelter medicine, volunteered in shelter medicine for Big Fix and spay neuter days, so those kinds of things. Shelter medicine holds a very big place in my heart. It really fills my cup, giving back to the community and giving back to those animals that find themselves in the shelter, and for the community who are underserved. Shelter medicine and rescue medicine is huge for me.
So you kind of talked about a couple of really particular moments of what got you into wanting to become licensed, but did you
Mhm.
have one particular moment or a breaking point that led you to actually start your relief business where you were just like, can't work full time in one specific clinic anymore?
Yeah, I think for me, what it was is I really hit that burnout wall. It came to a point where we really just don't have a ton of time in GP to spend with our clients. We're being asked to um, see a lot more patients in a small amount of time. And we really don't have the time to explain why progressive medicine and a lot of these services are being recommended for their patients. And at the end of the day, you really feel like a used car salesman. You're going from room to room, and clinical empathy is out the window, and you're just trying to keep your doctor on time. And I don't know how many times I had been talked to about the amount of time I spend with my clients in the exam room. I don't know how many times I was talked to about my doctor being behind, or clients yelling at me because their doctor is running late. And I get that. Everyone's time is incredibly valuable. And don't get me wrong, but when you pay for an appointment and you're sitting there waiting for contact time with your doctor, and your doctor hands you a diagnosis or says that Fluffy is this ill, but she has to go into the next room, or he has to go and talk to another person about X, Y, or Z, and you don't have time to discuss it. And it's not that the veterinarian or the veterinary technician don't want to, it's we're not given the time or the space to do that properly. And there are ways you can do that, and I believe me, I understand that, and there are a lot of people who can do it excellently. I mean, that have that excellent communication. But that was a breaking point for me. I was really struggling with not being able to spend that meaningful time with my clients. Another part was the last clinic that I had worked at was in shelter and rescue medicine. And as y'all know, shelter and rescue medicine is hard on your heart, and it's physically hard. And I knew that had an expiration date on it. I loved working for that practice, and it was a privately owned nonprofit that only serviced shelters and rescues. It was not open to the general public, but it is in high demand. It was the only one of its kind here in Salt Lake, in the entire state. We saw a lot of patients. And, I was the volunteer coordinator. I was the fundraising person who, got these fundraisers going, and, helped market these fundraisers, and also helped schedule the volunteer employees to come in, and also was a technician on the floor and a lead technician for a little while. And you do get a lot of flack for a lot of things. And when you work in a nonprofit, you feel like you shouldn't complain about your time. You shouldn't complain about the amount you make. You shouldn't complain about anything because you want to give back to the community. You want to give back to these rescues. You want to give back to the shelters and all the other people who are working super hard, and you want to do all these things to help accommodate all the balls that are in the air, and it's hard to say no. And that almost broke me. I
Mm.
mean, in November, I was ready to leave the field, and I was at my breaking point. And it's something that when you leave a practice or you leave somewhere, you know you stayed longer than you should have in
Mhm.
the first place. And by the time you are at that breaking point, by the time you leave, you're grumpy. Your patience are short, but you don't know when that line is, right? And so you have what I like to refer to as is survivor's guilt. And I know I'm not the only one here. And when I say survivor's guilt, it's like, who's going to take care of my work wife? I don't want to abandon her. And who's going to take care of those patients, my favorite patients? I love them, and I've known them since they were puppies or kittens or since they were diagnosed. I walked away from chemo patients that I was treating. I walked away from patients that, not at the shelter and rescue place, but at practices that I worked at for 8 years. I walked away from. Those are gut wrenching clients that I had built rapport and relationships with over the years. And it sucks. It's really hard. But at the end of the day, if you have to think who's going to care for those people and those clients and those patients, if you have to ask yourself that question, those clients and those patients and those technicians and those doctors shouldn't be there either. So, I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. So those of us who have been taught to stick it out, or that loyalty is the badge of honor, stick it out for that elusive golden carrot that you're going to be rewarded with down the road. That's how I was raised. I was raised that you just put your head down and you work, and you will be rewarded. You'll be noticed. And what I was noticed for were all the wrong things over my career as a technician. I was noticed for being cheap labor. I was noticed for being the one who would take on all the responsibility. I was noticed for being able to handle all the things. And, oh, well, this person isn't thorough. Well, Kim will take care of it, and I can't say no because they trust me. Oh my gosh, they trust me. That means so much. But at the end of the day, and it burned me out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I adored a lot of those people who trusted me, and I still do to this day. I still have relationships with those people. I still wanted to help them, but it's taxing. So that's what made me want to move look for something different, get out of vet med, move on. And I had to really do some hard thinking and figure out what it was about vet med that I wanted and if it was worth it.
Understandable, understandable. I couldn't imagine being in that situation. So, with that being said, and you found out like that was your breaking point, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced when transitioning to owning your own business when you were at that point?
Some of the biggest challenges that I faced was kind of knowing where to start, to be honest. But one of the bigger challenges is once I got going, being taken seriously as a relief technician business owner. I'm sure it's this way everywhere, but here in Utah, being a business owner as a technician, a lot of these places assume that you want to be applying for a W-2 position. They don't
Yes.
realize that, no, I own my own business. I am a contract employee. I love my flexibility. I love the fact that I am a small business owner, and I've been ghosted. I've been dismissed. I've been disrespected. For those who won't even read my website. I mean, I had one delightful individual tell me that they were desperate for my help after they had
Oh, that's
ghosted
always a
me.
red flag.
Yeah, huge red flag, but how disrespectful is that? Like,
It
you're
is.
After
desperate?
they ghosted you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they reached out to me in the beginning and they were like, "Oh my goodness, we'd love for you to come relief. Tell us about yourself." I'm like, "Awesome." So I emailed them with my link to my website and my information. And I was like, "Here's my contract agreement." And so didn't hear anything. And then when I was out of town doing a RAVS trip up in Washington, I was getting message after message. And, it's rural and it's pretty remote. So I didn't really have a whole lot of contact. So when I got back into cell range, it was just like blown up. And this person was like, "Well, now we're desperate." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's cool." So that's really tacky,
Is it
but
I feel like when you start doing this, you really start to understand how people in the veterinary field, like bosses, practice managers, owners, how
Mhm.
horrible they are at communication.
Mhm.
Business professionals. And
Yeah,
it's really
business.
irritating.
It is, and it's incredibly insulting too, because you're saying you're desperate, but you also haven't taken the time to do your due diligence. You haven't
Right.
read my website, you have no idea who I am, what I do, and you don't realize I'm not gonna fill out an application,
Right.
and I'm not going to be a W-2 employee, and that's exactly where that conversation went. They're like, "Okay, come fill out an application." I'm like,
No.
"Yeah,
If
I'm
you're desperate
sorry."
for my help, I am a relief technician with my own business. I will come and I
Yep.
will work and fill out my contract.
Right, and it was legitimately, like, per my last email.
I love that one. Oh,
Yeah.
I love the per my last email. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I don't like to be tacky, and I don't like to I really don't enjoy that kinda stuff, but it is very disrespectful, but I will say that there has been a lot of incredible feedback thus far in the area, and I've been incredibly fortunate as well, so
Yes,
despite
and
those early challenges.
yeah, and from what I remember us talking, you were the first CVT who has the first, I hope I'm getting this right, PLCC, no, PLLC in your
Yeah,
state, right? So you're like
yeah,
legitimately pioneering it out there in your state. And so
right. Yeah.
that's, yeah, that's amazing. So keep doing that. Another
Thanks.
reason why I'm so excited to have you on here is because you're the first in your state to start setting the standard. So for this clinic to
Mm.
be like, I'm desperate and you're over here pioneering something. Ooh, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
so
I'm just like, no, thank you."
yeah. Yeah, I actually had a client, a potential client say one time she was desperate as well, and she turned out to be my second most difficult client out of the thousands I served. So if I ever hear I'm desperate, I just will say I'm booked. So,
Yeah,
yeah, red flag.
yeah, it's a no, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
if there's anything I can do in the future to help you within the bounds of my business, I would be happy to help you out. But unfortunately, at this time, our business models don't seem to align. So,
Yeah, got it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Um, so with that being said, as far as specifically for a relief technician, what do you think are the key skills a technician should have to be able to successfully own a relief business? Because I think that there's a lot of technicians that I've talked to that are like, oh man, yeah, I want to do that. But it's like you want to be like, okay, well, come here, little bird. Let me tell you all the things that you need to know
Yeah.
about this because I think it's you have to have some special skills in order to be able to do something like this and have it be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I was hovering around this idea, I had already spoken to a few relief veterinarians in my area who are friends of mine that I've worked with in the past. I had kind of been watching them and watching how they do their relief businesses, how they practice, and watching how they maintain their boundaries. It was very eye-opening and honestly very inspiring. So just being able to watch someone that you know, that you trust, and get that and glean some of their insight from their experiences was incredibly helpful. I think some of the skills you need to have are adaptability. You should be able to go into any clinic and be able to just jump in and be ready to roll. It can be an absolute chaos mess when you walk in. I do everything from urgent care, ER, general practice. I do multiple like disciplines. So I will do mobile ultrasonography, echo,
Sweet.
endoscopy, that kind of thing when I go out. And I will go rural and then urban. So when I walk into a clinic, it can be anything from um a slow day where there's literally nothing going on, or it could be all hands on deck. We've got a code and we are just rolling from the second you go in. And on the days where I walk in and there's nothing going on, like I go through every single drawer, I am finding where everything is. I will restock everything. That helps me understand where things are. And I get an understanding of where clinics put things. I do the things the techs don't have time to do when they're in survival mode, and what those things are. And every clinic I relief at, I will go through their anesthesia machine maintenance. And so I will go through and tear down their anesthesia machine, usually because it just hasn't been done because they don't have time. And I'll go ahead and go tear it down. I'll clean it all. And then I will go through and replace everything and weigh out all their canisters and do that. And oftentimes they're like, we were going to do that. And I was like, no, it's fine. That's literally why I'm here. I am your relief technician. It's something I can do in the downtime that I know how to do. Another one is like anaproline. Not very many technicians are anaproline certified to do gas sterilization. So I'll go through and I'll see if the clinic has a gas sterilizer, and I'll pull all that stuff and sterilize it, get that running and rolling. Because with my ERs and my urgent care clinics, sometimes they need that stuff immediately, because if they have a case coming in soon, they're going to need suction. They're going to need those tools to be able to hop into that next case. So you have to be adaptable, which kind of leads me into the next thing. It's you need at least 5 years of experience, at least. If you're not doing ER, if you're doing urgent care or GP, you have to be able to understand and anticipate needs. And I feel like with 5 years under your belt, you will at least be able to know when it's a good time to chat and when it's a good time to focus. You'll know how to prep things for the technicians that are there. You'll know how to wrap packs. You'll know how to load a room, triage. You should know all of those skills anyways. And the client communication. You should be able, when you load a room, you should be able to roadmap what you're doing in that room. And you should have those key client communication skills when you roll in. And you should be able to build an estimate within your skill set, I would say. I usually will have a senior tech go over that, or the doctor. Obviously, that's one of the hardest things when you jump into a new practice is estimates.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
usually there's canned estimates that are within the computer system. And I will say, as an elder technician, the computer systems are so much more user-friendly now. That was my biggest fear going into this, is hopping from clinic to clinic, even within the same corporation, using those systems. Honestly, it's not as hard as I thought it would be, and I'm
Wow.
not computer savvy. And be prepared, be on time, be early so that you're ready to jump on shift. And I mean, I loved the podcast, Jen, when you were talking about how you have your pack of all of your things and you're ready to roll.
Fun.
I have my Mary Poppins bag, and everybody calls it my Mary Poppins bag. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Kim, what is in there?" And I'm like, I have everything from, some of the techs call it my mom pack. It's all of my over-the-counter meds for my coworkers in there,
Oh
from
my
migraine
gosh.
meds to Benadryl to everything, to all of the stuff I need for on shift. I have my self-adhesive cat wraps, which I cannot sell enough for fear-free use. And I'm ready to go. I have all the things that I need in my Mary Poppins bag. And I mean, I even have like pureed cat food dispensers, lickable treat dispensers ready to roll. So I hit the ground, and I have my own clipboard. So I'm ready to hop into a room. I'm ready to give estimates. I have canned client handouts. So, I mean, I'm ready to roll. And I think that's really a thing that techs need to have. They need to have a strong work ethic. Oh, and one more thing. Steer clear of the tea. Stay away from the drama, stay above it. I
Yes.
Oh, that's the
cannot
best
tell
part.
you. Yeah, no,
I
you
miss
can
that.
listen. Oh my God, I listen, but we don't judge. So, like,
Okay.
yeah, we do not get involved. I will tell you, I listen to all the tea, but I do not spread it. I do not spill it. And I do not, by any way, shape, or form, share in at all. And so that's the beauty of being a relief technician, is that you are above it. You're above all of the workplace drama. And don't get me wrong, I hear it all, because that's why I'm there. Oftentimes the place is going through some big changes and they're in need of a relief tech because of those significant changes. There's a lot of disgruntled employees, or someone just, yeah, someone just left. Yeah, it's really hard, and my God, I want to jump in so bad, like,
Oh,
you
I mean,
do.
it's hard. I mean, honestly, it's hard as women in general. I mean, that's just
Mhm.
what we do, right? And that's how we
Yeah.
bond sometimes too, right? Is by
Oh,
is
Yeah.
the
by
trauma
having those
bonding.
type of
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah,
But no, I totally agree. I think it is. I think it can be really hard. I think it's really easy when you don't work at those clinics very often. There's some clinics that I work
mhm,
at, not very often, where I don't know people enough to get involved. Like, and it's a very superficial relationships that I have with these
sure.
people. But at the clinics where, I've worked there for years, it's getting
Yeah,
more and more difficult to stay out
yes,
of that.
Oh.
And then you're just kind of like, okay, I got to reel it back. I got to reel it back. I got to
yep,
remember that, this, I'm professional. I mean, you've got to the point too, it gets to the point too where sometimes I'm at my other clinic and people are bringing stuff up to me, and now
yeah,
I'm having to be like, nope, nope, I don't know. I don't know. And I even have to
yep,
pretend like I don't know, even though I know. And I'm like, you know what? Nope. I don't know. Like something really big happened at the clinic the other day. I knew all about it. And people were like, oh, did you hear what happened? And I was like, no, honestly. And they're like, well, it was in your email. And I was like, oh, I don't read those emails. I only read emails
yeah,
that are to me. Cause I'm just like, no,
right,
like stop. It's
yep.
so hard.
It is. And for someone who constantly has subtitles on, I just can't. Like, I cannot participate. And believe me, I have been the girl who HR protocols have been written about.
Oh, me too.
And
I mean,
right,
yeah.
we
I
all
mean,
have, like, we've
we're not
been trained.
perfect, right? Like
Right,
none of us
yeah.
are perfect.
Right. And so, I mean, like, we've all been there and we've all been a part of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's just vet med, right? But at the
Yes.
same time, we also need to be the change that we want to see in vet med.
Right.
And no is a complete sentence. And no is also incredibly empowering. And it doesn't have to be verbalized as no. It just can be a simple, like a walk away situation. And that's what I have to do a lot of times. I just dip, and I have to dip out of the conversation and go to the next room because, oh, it's so hard. But at the end of the day, like, my reputation as a relief technician
Exactly.
relies heavily on my professionalism. Oh, there have been circumstances where you can be guilty by association, or
Yes.
just sitting at that computer being surrounded by the conversation and
Mm-hmm.
making eyes. Like, if you do a side eye or anything, I mean, just don't be in that situation. Don't put
Yeah.
yourself in that situation. Just walk away.
Yes.
And
People
I've
can
moved.
interpret those subtle signs for sure.
Right. And it could be a side eye at anything,
Yeah.
and just stay as professional as you possibly can. And if you need to dispense advice to someone, make sure that you are not putting yourself in jeopardy. I would say just keep it professional and just be conscientious. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you cannot have those relationships. I love the clinics that I go in relief at. I love the relationships that I have with the technicians and the receptionists and the vet assistants and the doctors and the practice managers. And I don't have to be popular, but I just go in and work hard and I let that speak for itself. So, oh, it's a hard one, guys, but be
Mm-hmm.
kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's solid advice, man. Just yeah, stay out of the shit. I
Yeah.
personally like to dive first into it. That's me. But I
Mhm.
give you guys credit for rising above it.
Hey, I don't say that I do it 100%. I'm literally going to be that person where right here, right now, I'm not perfect. I try so hard. It can be difficult, but I'm also not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm perfect. I don't ever do that. That's not true.
Right. We're human
I'm
beings.
working on it, and I'm trying to do better.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say on my side.
Right. And that's all we can do, right? Like we
Mhm.
can work really hard on trying to be better. And man, I've been in it for 26 years. I am not perfect.
Right.
And yeah, at one of the places I relief at, one of the technicians that I've worked with in the past, she's like, "Girl, you used to be mean." And she's like, "Where is that girl?" And I'm like, "She's medicated now."
So, Kim, how do you manage the business side of things such as scheduling, billing, marketing? Like, how do you manage all that time after you've worked in the clinic or before you worked in the clinic? Like, where do you squeeze that in at?
Oh, ooh, I do my best. So I love the fact that I am in charge of my own schedule. So I work Fridays, Saturday or Sunday, and Monday, which leaves me Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays off. My kids go to school, and so I like to be available for anything that's going on during the weekday. So Tuesday is usually my admin day, and it works out great because typically, unless they're sick or having a mental health day, they are at school and I can get all my admin stuff done. I'll typically go to a coffee shop and just sit down and then power through it, and I can get everything done on a Tuesday. And I do all of my business finances through the Wave app, which is really nice because they have a free level and then they have a pay level, which is not that much more expensive. I waited until I was in business for about, I think it was only 3 months before it paid for itself, having the upgraded version, the pro version of Wave. So that was really nice. I'm able to balance that by scheduling my time off. A year, I schedule all my time off. I block it all off in the calendar, basically starting from January. That's what my advisor from the Small Business Development Center had recommended. He's like, just schedule it all off, have it done in advance, and plan everything out ahead of time so that you don't overbook yourself. And so I did. I took his advice and I made sure that I did that, and so that I protect my time.
Hey everyone, it's Jen from Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We wanted to let you know that our first episode turned out to be a bit longer than we expected. After receiving some valuable feedback, we decided it would be best to break it into 2 parts to make it more digestible and enjoyable for you guys. We're excited to share that both part 1 and part 2 are available today, so you can dive right into the full conversation at your own pace. We really appreciate your support, and we hope you enjoy both parts of this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.